You're listening to the BS Podcast, where we cover all of the bullshit in the news and more. Now, welcome your hosts, Dave and Zach.
Hello and welcome to the BS Podcast, where we talk the absurd, the ridiculous, and yes, the bullshit. I am Dave. Joining me is my partner, Mr. Zach. Zach, how are you today? Are you ready to dive through and make our way unscathed through the BS of the world?
I'm ready because it feels like every week the bullshit just piles up more and more.
It's piling. I got my shovel. We're going through. You know what's about this, Zach? What it really is looking at all the things, all the annoying, infuriating things in the world, and just kind of having a laugh about it, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 100%. You know, like I think the biggest bullshit I've had to deal with in the last couple of days. I mean, like here in Maryland, Hogan, he didn't exactly say he did a shelter in place. You know, he made it very specific in his press conference. This is not a shelter in place, but everything's closed, so it pretty much is a shelter in place. And like, you know, I get it. Let's battle Corona. Let's flatten the curve, but it sucks because I spent hours building that setup in our studio in Baltimore. And now all of it's closed. So now I'm looking around my house like, damn it, I gotta redo all that work and figure out what the hell I'm going to do with myself for this podcast we're filming today.
Yeah, well, my wife is now working from home, and she's upstairs working. It's definitely an interesting transition for both of us, trying to get used to, or for her to settle in. I've been working from home for a number of years, but it's different. I mean, there's nowhere to go. They haven't shut anything down as of yet here in the Tampa Bay area where they did, but they did shut down most of South Florida. But really, nothing's open, and you don't really want to go out anyways because you don't want to be that idiot that's out there doing that. So,
yeah, exactly. I mean, like, what's the big the big Cherry Blossom Festival in DC this week? They still had thousands of people like in DC to look at the cherry trees. like the social distancing did that much, made people deter them from that much. You know, like. They should have just chopped down the trees. I mean, like, what else are they going to do?
Well, they're like 200-year-old trees, aren't they? Well, I don't know how old they are, but
I don't know.
They're like the most beautiful thing in the area, and they just the city goes out and torches them all.
Yeah.
So no one will go there. So have they been just saying stay away? What are they giving? They're not closing there, or can you close that area? I don't know.
I don't know if you can. I think it's just that the trees were blooming and everyone was like, "Oh, let's go see the pretty trees," and that was it. I don't think they actually had a festival for it like they normally do. But
have you ever been?
No.
Okay.
I don't like crowds anyway, so for me, this whole shelter in place thing is perfect.
So this is the perfect health crisis for you.
Yeah, exactly.
You just have to do a little bit of work in your room. You know, as it's starting to get warm, I know in Baltimore, I'm sure it's still a little bit cold, but it's been in the 80s here, and it's feeling like it could be beach weather, and I'm irritated. This is the BS I'm dealing with because when there's stress in my life, or if I want to just get away, one of the best things you can do, and really one of the favorite things I like to do, is for my wife and I to take the dog and go to a beach where we can just go out there, run around in the water, chase the dog around, throw a frisbee or whatever, and just to be away from everything. And they've taken that from me. I can't do that because these college kids went down to Clearwater Beach by the thousands, forcing the entire county to shut down every single beach. So now I can't just go and do that little thing and keep my distance from people. Yeah. I'm not talking about, dancing on the beach with 1,000 people or anything like that. Just me and my wife and my dog. We can't even do that. So that's a lot of BS to me.
Yeah, you need that. What they should do is give everyone one of those discs we talked about last week, the 6-foot perimeter disc. No coming in contact with it.
Yeah, forget about mass producing testing kits. I think more important, we can get that 6-foot social distance disc. Everyone should have one. Is a great idea. What else has been ticking you off?
The new Rams logo sucks.
Oh, that came out yesterday.
I think you brought that up to me. Yeah. Well, yeah. What did you think about that?
It looks someone did. Well, it's first of all, the Rams. I didn't think of all the sports logos and symbols and everything. That's one of the ones I didn't really think needs changing. I guess they wanted to put it in the LA, but it's just an iconic thing already, right? It was perfect, and I don't know if they're going to change the helmet. I really hope they don't, because the Rams helmet is one of the best, ever, right?
Yeah, I mean, as long as they're not changing, I think the color scheme they got going on is pretty sweet. But
because they were like blue and gold.
Yeah.
Old school, it was blue and white, so they kind of went back to the blue and white, and now I guess they're getting rid of that. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? Now,
someone did a mock-up where, because it's a horn, obviously, and it's perfectly symmetrical, and if you fit President Trump's head inside the horn, it's perfect.
That's excellent.
Oh, the other thing, Zach, and of course this is real, is a lot of people are getting sick, and many are dying, and all that. But I don't know. What's your level of worry about you getting infected? Are you not worried? Do you think you might just end up getting it because it seems like so many are getting it? What are your thoughts, like your level of risk and your kind of your outlook for yourself?
I'm already a hypochondriac as it is, so it's like every time I've had this cough for like a week, and I'm like constantly taping my temperature. Like every morning I have this ritual. It's like I take my temperature and then I brush my teeth, so that way like the cold water from brushing my teeth doesn't affect the temperature in my mouth. I mean, wow. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a worry, but it's like it's the time of year for allergies, right? And we can't take medicine now because who said that, it makes it worse. So it's, what are we going to do here? It's like, are we just supposed to get it and die? You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm with you. I got seasonal allergies. I'm still taking my Zyrtec, but I got headache. I'm sneezing. I'm like this. And then sometimes it seems to kind of at the end of the night is where it kind of builds in my head. And that's where I start, oh man, I'm going to wake up with a fever in the middle of the night. And
the biggest thing for me that I worry about is that it's like, all right, shortness of breath is like the number one kind of thing. And it's like for someone out of shape like me, it's like I walk up the steps to do laundry and I'm like, oh Jesus, I got coronavirus. You know what I mean? It's like, wait a second. No.
Suddenly my daily deficiencies are going to prove fatal, right? Oh, it's a nightmare. Well, yeah, and I don't know if this is what you meant, but there's some, I don't want to call it confusion or maybe ahead of the curve, but there's this thing about ibuprofen and aspirin and Tylenol. There was something that came out of France, I think, where they had said that, and I've got it here, but it basically had to do with somehow this virus attaches to the some receptors, and it's called ACE2, or an enzyme that attaches to. And apparently, if you take what was alleged was ibuprofen could increase the creation of this enzyme, which would then in turn give a virus more opportunity to attach itself to your body. And so don't take ibuprofen, or maybe the same with Advil, and instead take Tylenol. Now, no one knows if this is for sure or not. There's some caution saying, there's nothing, definitive about it. But I didn't take any chances. I went out to Walgreens and got like literally one of the last 3 bottles of Tylenol. Yeah. Because I've got ibuprofen in my house, and don't take it because right, it's worth it at least.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, you want to know what's bullshit is no lie, like a day before that article came out, I was out of ibuprofen, and I said, I'm going to stock up, and I bought like this gigantic bottle of ibuprofen, and then the next day, the World Health Organization said, don't take ibuprofen. I'm like, great, I just wasted all this money. I could have went and bought the non-existent toilet paper or like, whatever we need. But
we're just past toilet paper at this point. Yeah. It's not even, I don't even worry about it now.
I can't even buy meat anymore. Like, you can't find anything. I had to call my dad. I'm like, normally, like, I'm not a hunter. My dad goes hunting every year. And when his freezer fills up, like with meat, I'll usually like pay to have the deer butchered. Yeah. And then I just keep all the meat. And of course, this past fall is like the year he didn't get any deer. So it's like I have nothing in my whole freezer's empty. Like it normally would be like filled to the brim by now.
Oh, let's just hope. Let's hope we get some more stock. Well, I did hear on the toilet paper front that apparently the major manufacturers like Procter and Gamble or whatever are at full capacity at this point. But But I read this article and it sort of said like, well, that we expect sales to even out over time, and it sort of hinted that they're aware that so much was bought ahead that they don't want to maybe face losses down the road. So it doesn't seem like they're really on board with making sure everyone gets toilet paper now.
The thing that sucks is all the people with the hoarder mentality that caused toilet paper crisis in the first place. As soon as more toilet paper gets on the shelves, those same people are going to go back and buy whatever the store's limit of toilet paper is.
You think they're just going to get more?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at the pictures online. People are nuts, man.
It is crazy. So there's really, and again, it's just sort of like you can't do anything but come here and complain about it, Zach. So
yeah, and let us. Yeah, and if you're having trouble finding toilet paper yourself, let us know in the comments below. Yeah. And hey, if you're in the Baltimore area and you find a place that does have toilet paper, also put that in the comments so I can go get it.
Yeah, I'd like to know what you think about that. I'd like to know if you guys think about this ibuprofen Tylenol thing, and if you are a hoarder. I'm talking to you, Mr. Comment Guy. If you've got the toilet paper, do you plan on running out and getting more, like Zach said? No. And have you found any? I don't know. Maybe you don't want to tell anybody how you got it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Zach, that's the BS going on in our lives. Let's talk about the BS going on in the United States and around the world. We've got a couple of topics here, so let's run down them. We've got just out right here, we're talking about supermarkets dealing with shortages. That story's going to come from Europe. We've got an update on Tito's as a hand sanitizer. I wanted to follow up on that. A nurse fired for causing panic. Las Vegas is getting innovative with social distancing. And did a psychic predict the coronavirus? Interesting stuff here. And a news segment called This Week in Florida, because there's great news coming out of my home state, Florida. Jails are in crisis, and the Baltimore mayor gives a unique plea to residents to keep open hospital beds. Also, we got some news on the Tokyo Summer Olympics, and is there a new rap star in the making? We're going to cover all of that. But, Zach, let's start with, since toilet paper is on my mind still, there's a grocery store in Denmark took an innovative, I thought, a really interesting position here on trying to stop hoarding, which is that you pay for the item, and they're doing this with all the things like hand sanitizer, cleaners, Lysol, of course, toilet paper, paper towels, all that stuff. You buy one at regular price, and then the next one is, so say, here's the first bottle of this. You can find this, by the way, the story at informedamerican.com, so check that out. Say hand sanitizer, the first one is $6. The second one is $150. What do you think of that?
Supply and demand. You know what? And it probably works, because I was thinking about this the other day. I was at the grocery store looking for toilet paper, and they have signs everywhere, two per customer, right? And I was sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, okay, how are they even enforcing this? Because how many times do you see someone in a 10 items or less aisle with a cart full of stuff? You know what I mean? All the time. They're not going to enforce it. They don't care. You know what I mean? And this would be people forcing themselves to not buy more than two.
Yeah, at grocery stores, I mean, this is maybe another BS that we just roll over for rude customers, right? They should step up. But I think this is a good way, rather than the two per customer. Fine, you want that second one? We're going to jack it up 10 times.
Yeah. and the first one we're going to jack up too.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is better. It really by just, I think that's a great enforcement measure. I wish to me, the BS angle here is that we haven't done this in the United States. This would have been much better, because what it is my God-given right as an American to buy as much toilet paper as I desire.
Go ahead, buy as much as you want, but you better be the damn millionaire, because the prices are going to skyrocket.
Yeah. But, even if they enforce the two items, you can just go in your car and come back, right?
Yeah.
I'm a new customer.
Yeah, no one's going to say anything to you, and then you could always just get disguises. Too bad this isn't October and the costume, Halloween stores aren't open. You just go get fake mustaches. Keep buying more.
It's the new industry is.
Yeah, the guy walks in with the big glasses with the fake nose and the mustache to buy more rolls of toilet paper.
Oh wow! Have you been turned away at a grocery store for buying more than 2 items or less? Use my disguise. Excellent. So that is the BS. That is our first BS topic, down and out. What do you think of this price? This, I guess, what you call it, surge pricing, essentially. Let us know in the comments below. Do you think they should enforce 2 items more strongly, or maybe adopt this Danish model? I'd like to hear what you think. I think both of us are in favor of that, right?
Oh yeah.
Now, Zach, last week we talked about Tito's as hand sanitizer, and you actually had a bottle.
Yeah, and I'm all out.
You may or may not have accidentally drank out of the cup, Zach.
I did. Half on accident. Our buildings were empty, Dave. It was just me in the office. My boss wasn't there.
This is before the shutdown, and it was a very confusing time.
Yeah.
The issue last week we talked about was Tito's coming out and telling people not to use their vodka as hand sanitizer and to instead drink it, which is much better. And we were just sort of laughing at people doing this, but we weren't quite sure. Neither one of us, I don't think, were exactly sure as the reason why. So I wanted to just follow up and be thorough here. The reason is that Tito's is about 40% alcohol, and you need something that's 60% alcohol. So it doesn't mean you can't use alcohol. It's just it has to be.
It probably has the same strength of like all the scented hand sanitizers that people get. It's like I saw a meme. It's like, have fun with your hand sanitizer. It's 10% alcohol and 90% glitter. You know what I mean? It's like the same thing. It's like use your bullshit hand sanitizer from the makeup store, and the Tito's vodka is probably better.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's more pure, right? There's at least more. Maybe if it's not enough by vodka. No, we're not going to there. You can't use. Okay? Stop trying to get me into this. But there are, if you happen to have some, there are that you could actually use. And if you read about this, it's always doctors saying no, don't do this, don't do that. But hey, if you say 60%, I'm gonna get something above 60%, and to me, it's gonna work. So if there's Booker's bourbon, there's Bacardi 151, there's Everclear, which is grain alcohol essentially, and there's a Polish vodka that goes as high as 96%. Are you telling me that's not going to kill everything on your hand? Maybe, possibly your hand.
Yeah, it's basically like the rule: if you can set it on fire, then it's probably strong enough to burn the bacteria off your hands.
By the way, rubbing alcohol is 70%, I believe, or something like that. But the problem with rubbing alcohol is that you can't drink it. So.
You can't drink it?
You could also, Zach, make your own.
Oh, man. I don't know what I've been doing all these years then.
Because I wanted, because I know you said you were running low. So I don't want you to go diving into the medicine cabinet. You're like, honey, it's alcohol.
I was like, my wife was like baking cake the other day, and I was like looking at the vanilla extract or something, and it was like some percent alcohol. I'm like, oh, man, you can drink this?
You need a lot of vanilla extract.
Oh, yeah. Die from poisoning before you get drunk.
Now, something useful out of this conversation or this topic is that you can actually make your own hand sanitizer. You can do it with a combination of any kind of alcohol over 70%, or was it 60%? No, over 60%. And 3 parts of that and 1 part aloe vera gel. And I know people eat aloe vera, right? But probably not the gel you get out of the container.
I don't know anyone that eats aloe vera.
Well, no, because I've seen you can drink it like aloe vera juice or something.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I think the plant is edible, but again, I don't
know. Like growing up, my grandma always used to have an aloe plant. And I remember we used to run down there every time we get like a burn or a cut and just like snap off the leaf and like rub it on yourself. And that was like the best thing, but I don't think I ever ate it.
I think the actual unprocessed gel out of the plant is edible, but again, we don't want to encourage that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was at the grocery store like one day and I saw like a cactus leaf in the produce section. I'm like, what are you going to do with this?
Take a bite out of it. That's what you do. Why do you think people are buying those plants? They're eating.
Yeah. It's times like these I wish I was a farmer and like I was living off the land. I wouldn't have to deal with any of this. I wouldn't have to worry about like going to the grocery store and like having the produce aisle be empty or anything,
Yeah, you grow your own food.
Yeah, live off the land.
Yeah.
That's what we're all going to have to do eventually anyway. The farmers are the real winners in this whole situation.
You're socially distanced by hundreds of miles as it is.
Yeah.
And it makes me want, I mean, we're seeing, the biggest cluster really is in New York City, right? And South Florida. And I don't know, it was Washington State, California. I don't think I've heard anything about South Dakota. Have you?
No. Like we said last week, I think West Virginia was the last one to get on this whole, be infected. And I thought that was because they were all drinking like, moonshine that, like we said was however much alcohol percent, but maybe it's because it's just so much land out there. Maybe that's what it is.
Some combination of the two. I mean, you could bathe yourself in your moonshine and then that kills everything and then just maybe filter it out, drink it. And then you're by yourself in the woods. So just drunk and no one's going to get you. All right, Zach, let's move on to topic number 3, which is a nurse gets fired for causing panic in the hospital. Now, what exactly happened here? The nurse put on a mask. Yeah.
That's it. She put on a mask.
95 masks that were all told that are all gone, and they say it won't work. His supervisor says, you got to take this thing off. You're going to cause panic. He refused because he said, I don't want to get myself sick. I don't want to, in case I have something, to transmit it to them or to, then transmit it to my family. So I'm not going to take the mask off. The guy was fired. I think this is absolute.
That is absolute bullshit. I mean, I know of a friend of mine that works as a nurse, and she said all the patients there are refusing to wear face masks. So like the entire staff is wearing them so that they don't get it. She has to go to work every day and they have to wear face masks so that they protect their own nurse and staff. So because someone would be fired for protecting themselves, it's not like they're not showing up to. I would understand if they didn't like show up to their job, like I don't want to get coronavirus, so I'm not going to work. Like, fire the son of a bitch. But like he's there working, trying to help people. Like he should be able to protect himself.
That should be able to have some basic level. Yeah. Now, what is this panic thing? I mean, you're in the hospital. I mean, you're there because you're sick and you need help. I mean, what are we worried about at this point? We're past panic, aren't we? I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hospital. People are supposed to be wearing face masks. I mean, the whole country's terrified. This is, it's almost like one of those movies you see where like, oh, we don't want to tell the public that an asteroid's going to hit the world because they might get upset about it. Well, they should make everyone working right now in groceries, like the people working in grocery stores, nurses. I mean, they probably should be wearing face masks. They're the ones that are forced to to have to be out in the world right now. Why shouldn't they wear face masks? It doesn't make any damn sense.
No, I agree. It's total BS. And actually, when I went out to the Walgreens here to get the Tylenol, I went in there with a pair of vinyl gloves, and I would love to have a mask, but you can't get one. And
did you really wear vinyl gloves? Good for you, Dave.
There was about 15, 20 people in that store. No, by the way, because you mentioned the workers, none of them had a mask. None of them had gloves. But I was in there, and it was essentially like Pac-Man. I was avoiding people in the aisles. I was going around trying to keep my distance from people. I just assumed it was like a video game where everyone's infected. Like, near them, I'm going to die. It was definitely taking it a little extreme.
Yeah, the little white dots are rolls of toilet paper.
And they keep disappearing every time I get near them. All right, let's move on to our next story. A Las Vegas strip club tries a new approach: drive-up peep shows.
This is a good one.
On informedamerican.com. I think it's right up your alley.
I mean, right up my alley. I mean, if the strip club shut down Las Vegas, the whole town would go under. Isn't that? That's got to be like 90% of the money flowing into the city, minus casinos. I mean, I don't know if the casinos are closed. I know in Maryland the casinos are closed, but I mean, I get A for effort for this guy trying to be creative to figure out a way to keep his business open. I think the thing about this strip club that made me laugh more was the whole hand sanitizer wrestling that they said they were doing.
Yeah. So let me go through here. So just to first clear this up, it's this place called Little Darlings, and that's a good point, Zach. What about the brothels? What about the strip clubs? When the Congress is debating relief, tax relief and all this stuff. I hope they really include.
And escorts, man. They're not making shit right now.
No, but they're doing this in a very I want to be very clear. They're being following all health guidelines, safety guidelines to make sure that there's a benefit for both sides and to not endanger the public health. Because we're going to offer drive-up window strip shows. Guests can drive up to the front door, and we're going to have dancers separate by 6-foot separation rule so they can enjoy a totally nude show. And then, as you hinted at, Zach, while the world is begging for hand sanitizer, they are going on Saturday. On Saturday, they're doing a new XXX hand sanitizer wrestling. We have almost 20 gallons of hand sanitizer, and we're going to do a cool nude hand sanitizer wrestling show. I think this sounds fantastic.
Does everybody get to like dip their hands in like the pool that they're wrestling in and like, do one of these numbers first? That's what I want to know. And like, I guess the drive-up strip club, do you pick your own music? I mean, can you just roll up and like put on your own radio station and like,
Yeah, like the drive-in, you turn it, turn the dial to station 8.10 or 9 or whatever it is, and you get, I don't know, some song.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything really bullshit about that. I mean, it's like I said, A for effort for this man for being creative and trying to figure out how to keep his business open.
Yeah, I do. This is creative. It's a big waste of hand sanitizer, though.
I guess that is the bullshit part of this. That's a good point, Dave. It's a waste of hand sanitizer. Why don't you just leave it at drive up peep shows and call it a day?
Yep. And tune in, and it'll, of course, the song would be "She Works Hard for Her Money." Okay, so that's all we got on that one. Now, this one really caught my eye, Zach, because, of course, nobody knows what's going on in the world and what's going to happen, not even in 2 weeks from now. But if we'd all listened to the now late psychic Sylvia Browne in her 2008 book, we would have already known that this thing was coming.
I tell you what, she's up in heaven or wherever she is right now, looking down on all of us, like, and just shake. I told you all. I wish y'all would have bought more of my books.
Now, this people didn't know about this, but luckily, Kim Kardashian showed the world some excerpts from this book in an Instagram post, which then made this book rocket to, I believe, right now is about number 2 on the Amazon nonfiction list. So everyone is getting filled up with all these predictions, and they're really, really accurate. She said,
I think the flu one's the most accurate. If you look at some of those other predictions, I don't think there's a shot in hell of any of those happening. I mean, maybe some of the environmental ones, but what was one of her predictions that there won't be a president anymore? It'll be absolved. Like the whole executive branch of government will be absolved into the legislative branch or the judicial, exactly.
We're going to get tired of the presidency in general. People will rise up, and it'll give power to the legislative branch, and then we'll have, just a new way of reorienting politics. Something about here. I got it here. This is maybe the most interesting. The lost city of Atlantis will rise again. Careful there, don't spit out your drink. The Atlantis and Lemuria. I'm not familiar with this one.
I have no idea what that was. When I was reading that article, I just took it at Atlantis and said, "Okay, let's go from there."
You'll know soon.
Once all the ice caps. But I guess she didn't plan for it because apparently, the whole Earth environment has been doing great since everyone's been stuck in their houses for the last 2 months.
I agree.
So all of her Earth disaster things that might not come true because things are starting to turn around for the world,
That's true. Now, back to the coronavirus. She also said it'll disappear very quickly. So there is a ray of hope. We're looking for some good news here.
I wonder what her definition of quickly was.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
This doesn't feel quickly.
No, not at all.
March has been the longest year I can remember.
Oh, crazy. And every day feels like a week, right?
Yeah.
But just here, I want to just finish that. Yeah, by 2050, Atlantis and Lemuria will rise magnificently from their underwater graves. Do you want me to go through some of the other predictions just in case people want to keep notes?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Make sure that
I picture Aquaman standing on top of a castle, rising up out of the water, or Poseidon, some Greek god or whatever.
By 2050, buddy, brace yourself.
I hope we're all alive still.
Now, this one is really important. I think rising infertility will be caused by spirits who don't want to reincarnate. So that'll, we've been looking for a reason why births have been slowing around the world, and that's it. It's the spirits aren't ready to come back yet.
Yeah. You think I wonder if reincarnation is real, what that process is like. If there's some God that's looking at all the spirits saying all right, it's your turn to reincarnate, buddy. What do they just say? No, I'm good.
No. This is
it's such bullshit.
This is bullshit. Look at
that's what the spirits are saying. This is bullshit. I'm not going back there.
The spirit, it's two spirits having a podcast talking about this bullshit. They want me to come into this world. I'm not doing it. Some real good news here. Male and female pedophiles will be neutered. So that'll be part of the prison sentence. Moving on. Meteor showers and space trash will shower the Earth in 2029.
Okay, what's space trash? That's what I want to know. I'm not a scientist. I don't, but Is that like aliens, like throwing their bags of garbage like down? Are we going to have, like garbage from aliens flying on?
Yeah, like
what does that mean?
Like the movie Spaceballs when they were in the Winter Bed.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So that's gonna float down on all of us and hurt us really bad.
Like in Joe Dirt when he found the meteor, but it was like a thing of shit from the airplane. That's what's going to fall on us.
Oh goodness. Oh, man, she was really ahead of the curve here. One that actually does sound plausible: old diseases will suddenly return because people have stopped vaccinating. That one.
That 100% will happen. Yeah. But as far as do I think that is like a psychic prediction? I don't think so. That's like a doctor like guessing that someone has heart disease in their family. There's heart disease in every family. You know what I mean? Like that's
yeah.
Like of course, that's not psychic at all. People don't vaccinate. Of course, things are going to start to come back.
Yeah. I agree with that at all, or completely. Sorry. And so we got another one. We're all going to die of disease-related deaths, but it will be amazingly easy and peaceful. That gives me some comfort.
Lovely.
It'll end with it's not going to end with a bang, but with a whimper. We're all going to die, but it's going to be okay. So all right. Take some solace in that. Next one. We're all going to be living in domed cities.
I thought that was pretty cool. That's like some like sci-fi type stuff. I mean, that seemed pretty cool, but I guess I don't understand. Well, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know. But what happens like at the top of like the dome or whatever? Like, I just don't understand how that would work. But
yeah,
I think
this one kind of looks like a ring. Sorry, this one looks like a ring.
That's what I'm thinking about. The picture I saw in the article where it was like a ring. Like what happens at the very top? Like,
yeah, I don't know. Well, have you ever seen? There's the video game Halo. It was kind of like that. If you ever saw the movie Interstellar,
that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
Interstellar. But it's I think the one part of that article that did seem true was that like the rich are only going to afford to live there, and then like all the poor people will like be in like the old shitty part of the world.
Yeah.
That whole aspect seems true. Like there probably will be some kind of society in the future that's going to be protected and only the rich can afford to live there. Whether it's a domed city or not, who the hell knows? But
could it be space? Well, isn't that what?
Maybe it's space.
Sort of like the movie Elysium, right?
Oh yeah,
that one. They were kind of up. Yeah, all the rich people were sort of segregated, or they just removed themselves from the peons in the South, on Earth, whereas the rich people got to live in comfort, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, looking on, we've got 3/4 of the Earth will be covered in water. I mean, where's she getting this stuff from? And I mean, this is not psychic, right?
No, I mean, scientists have been saying for how long the polar ice caps are melting. Like, it's not hard to say, well, the Earth's going to be covered by 70% of water in how many years? I mean, I think that it is impressive. She said a flu. And she did name the year in her prediction. That I think that's pretty impressive. But psychic, I mean, I don't know.
No, I mean, I don't know. Just collecting the cells of newborns will lead to brilliant advancement in cloning. I don't want that. I don't know. So, we're ready to move on from her?
Yeah, let's get away from Sylvia Brown.
What a crazy person, right? All right, well, let's move on to This Week in Florida, our new segment.
Yay! There's always some crazy shit going on in Florida, Dave. What's it like to live there?
It's fantastic. It's, I don't really run into these people, though. I mean, I sort of self-segregate, as we talked about, working from home. And luckily, I'm not running into these crazy people. Now, there's a story you found about a guy who... did not want to pay his toll, right?
Yeah. This guy, he was arrested twice for impersonating an officer. What he was doing was driving through a bridge toll, flashing a fake badge so he didn't have to pay, and he got caught twice, and it was only a $2 bridge toll. And I think that's the funniest part. Like, how much are you going to have to pay in your legal fees or whatever it is, or your ticketing? But it was $2, man. Just pay it.
Not that big of a deal. Well, I never really thought about this, I guess, because I'm assuming police, they go through tolls and they normally just drive through. But I guess he passing himself as like an undercover cop or something like that?
I guess
I'm
so.
on a case,
yeah.
driving up into like some old Buick or something.
Yeah.
I'm a cop. Oh, absurd. Now, at least that was at least harmless. There was another one, this is an absolutely crazy story. A woman accused of assault coughed in paramedic's face. She's attacking her boyfriend. And then they came up to her, shouted an EMT, coughing the guy, saying she's got coronavirus. I mean,
I want to drink some Tito's with this woman because not only like you read the article and you think like, okay, this is hilarious that this woman's coughing on a paramedic saying she got coronavirus. But the funniest thing to me is why the cops got called there in the first place, because she was abusing her boyfriend. Because her boyfriend or her husband or whoever wouldn't have sex with her, so she physically beat him. But not only did she punch him or something, the article said she did like a spin kick move because she knows karate. And I just like picture her in like a full like karate getup, like looking like Beverly Hills Ninja, like doing a spin kick and popping this guy right in the nose. It's like taking karate. Like, what did she go to karate lessons like with all the little kids? Like it kills me.
This is perfect. Holmes' boyfriend told officers that she had broken his nose after he declined to have sex with her, according to documents obtained by the smoking gun. The report said Holmes is a black belt in martial arts and allegedly roundhouse kicked her boyfriend in the nose and then punched him. And then, oh my goodness, and then just freaked out. It was and by the way, on the spitting, quote, copious amounts of saliva exited Holmes' mouth and landed on the paramedic's face. So... Zach, you're married. If someone declines, do they get beat up in the house? That's just crazy.
No, you just go like play video games or something and go do something else. Can't say I've ever got spin kicked in the face for that.
Don't marry a black belt. Is the lesson here.
I'm glad I didn't go to like kung fu events to try to like pick up my wife.
No, she would have roundhoused you and you would have been done. Okay, so that's all we had for this week in Florida. Just 2 stories, but there's always many more. Plus, I mean, sort of technically we touched on this with the spring break thing going on in Clearwater Beach. I don't know if you got to see the pictures of that. I mean, that was... Oh, yeah. There's like, college kids are interviewing. They go, I'm not afraid. Nothing's going to stop me from partying. So thanks.
They don't care.
Thanks so much. All right, let's move on to our next one. Jails in crisis. Tri-state inmates released to manage rapid COVID-19 spread. Zach, now this is out of abundance of caution to not have the virus spread within the jail cells. We certainly don't want anyone getting sick and dying, and I'm sure they don't have access to the best care there. The solution here is to start letting people out to the general public. What do you think of that?
I mean, at least they keep them contained. At least if they didn't let them out, like everyone's contained. You know what I mean? Like they can easily quarantine someone with COVID-19 by just don't leave your cell, right?
Yeah, I think
doesn't that seem like exactly jail essentially is quarantine. Like, hey, stay in your cell, don't leave. Just put everybody on lockdown for how long? Just feed them the food. I mean, I know it's probably not the most humane thing, but most of them are in jail for a reason. I'm not going to say everybody is there that. I'm sure there might be some people there that are innocent that, were just on the wrong side of the law or whatever. But,
right.
But at the same time, it's a prison. Like everyone's already in quarantine. At least it's all being contained and we're not, putting some criminals out back into the public. God knows.
I don't see any assurances that they'll be testing these people. I don't know. They might. What if they're asymptomatic and they haven't? Now we're just releasing them out to the general public.
Exactly. Now they're going to spread it more.
Just unbelievable. So they're slow rolling this. They're looking at, they said, wow, the New York prison system has over 20,000 people that are over 50 years of age. So maybe they're just they're thinking, all these guys and women may not have a chance to make it because of their age. But man, it's a bad situation, but I feel like maybe you're endangering the public.
I read this article and I kept thinking like I'm waiting for Harvey Weinstein to like get out of jail because he already tested positive for it. So now it's waiting for him to be like I'm getting out of jail now. They're going to send him home so he doesn't. So
where do we fall on that? Was this good news or do we still feel sympathy because we don't want anyone to get sick? What do you think? Where do you come down? Or we not you have to choose, but I find it a little. Part of me smiled, but then a part of me said, yeah, I don't know. In terms of having a bad person
Yeah, this is a tough one. This is a tough one because, part of me thinks, they do need to look out for their health, but at the same time, it is kind of bullshit that some people might be getting endangered because of it, So this is a double-edged sword,
Maybe I'll leave that choice for God.
Yeah. And I'm curious to what people think too about that. Like if people could comment on that, and how they feel about it.
Yeah. Do you feel happy when a bad person gets sick? Or should we have sympathy for all people who get this? So let us know in the comment section below. Zach, more stuff with law enforcement. It's kind of funny, not funny, but really comes from your neck of the woods. The Baltimore mayor told residents, please stop shooting each other. That way we could keep the hospital beds open.
Yes. Well, one thing's for sure, Dave, the stabbings are going to go down because social distancing. You can't stab someone from 6 feet away.
Oh, so are you predicting more shooting or bow and arrow or?
I don't know. I was trying to find some kind of statistics this morning and I was having trouble digging something up. Maybe at the beginning of April, we can kind of take a look at what happened with March to see if shootings went down. I don't think so because, you can shoot someone from social distancing,
Yeah, certainly. Or you could throw the knife if you could practice that enough. Not that we want to get innovative here. But I guess it's one of the things I don't really consider about all the violence is how much, that would take up all those shootings, and not everybody, many of them survive apparently, and enough for an ambulance to pick them up and bring them to the emergency room. I never really thought that could have been a conflict with people getting the coronavirus or not. Please.
Yeah, enough of an issue. Like save the hospital beds for the coronavirus patients.
Oh, what do you guys think of that? I mean, let us know in the comment section below. Is this something you've ever had to think about before? Does it just sort of speak to the state of our cities and our society at this point, where we're battling over a pandemic and then mass violence? It's just not enough room to feed everybody. It's a little bit depressing, isn't it? That's kind of the BS I find in this whole thing. So this is something I have to think about.
Yeah, exactly. Like people, people can't even stop shooting each other on a ceasefire, weekend that they keep calling. But now that there's a pandemic, it's not going to work. It's not going to stop anything. It's just, this is the society we live in now. And that's, how it is.
Now, Zach, let's move on to our next one. And this is interesting. I'm not even sure really what we just want to talk about a guy's name. Talking about the Tokyo Olympics have been postponed.
Well, let's just say it's bullshit that the Olympics are going to get postponed.
Well, because we've got no sports, right? Maybe the hope was that they could run up on the Summer Olympics, but now out. Now, were you a Summer Olympic fan, or were you kind of in the same boat as me? Just anything. I'll take whatever.
I'll take anything. I like the Winter Olympics a little bit more, but I will watch it when it's on. Yeah, that's the one time I start getting super patriotic.
Oh, absolutely. So
we'll start wearing American flag shirts everywhere.
Give me pole vaulting. Give me whatever. Yeah. I agree too, though. I do like the Winter Olympics a little better. It seems to be. I don't know what it is about it, but I kind of like watching the hockey and the skiing and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
What about maybe figure skating or something like that? Is that what you're looking for usually?
Oh, I love figure skating.
News came of this postponement from the IOC committee's member Dick Pound.
Dick Pound. Dick Pound. Great name, and I'm glad he's on the committee for the Olympics. I'm surprised that's not the name of the guy that owns that strip club in Vegas that we talked about.
I think both of these men are in the wrong profession, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Sanitizer wrestling could be the new. We could do Olympics that way.
Oh yeah. Sponsored by Dick Pound and Little Darlings Strip Club of Las Vegas.
Yeah, you get different participants from all around the world to do it in a nice, safe environment. You can hand out gold medal, silver, bronze.
Yeah, exactly.
We're making synergy here.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the Summer Olympics being canceled? Do you feel in the same way as Zach and I that it's absolute BS because all the last bit that we can get from sports is now gone? I mean, I guess what are we looking for here? That the NFL season starts on time? Is that kind of our hope?
God, I hope so. I hope the 17-game season can start on time.
Oh, depressing. That is absolute BS. Are you ready to move on to our last topic, Zach?
Let's do it.
We got a possible new rap star in the making. Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks' wife. Now, both of them, I believe both tested positive for coronavirus. And at least the good news here is that they are recovering. Rita Wilson was feeling so good that she rapped Naughty by Nature's Hip Hop Hooray. And this blew up all over social media a day or two ago. I'm happy to hear that she's doing better, but this isn't what I was looking for.
It sounded like someone's mom at like a birthday, like a tween's birthday party, trying to like be the cool mom. Like, you know what I mean? Where it's like, Mom, you're embarrassing me. That's exactly what it seemed like when I was watching. First of all, I'm going to admit I didn't even really know who she was, and then like I was like, who is this lady? And I looked it up, and I was like, oh hey, it's the mom from Jingle All the Way. And it was like that's what she was. She was just being the cool mom, rapping and embarrassing her family.
It is embarrassing, right? But somehow it seemed like everybody loved it more than you did. And I was just looking for something a little better than that. Interesting part. This story comes from Deadline, and there's some sort of an analysis of her rapping. This comes from Tony Award-winning actress, singer Annika Noni Rose is quoted saying, Rita Wilson did not learn hip-hop hooray for social media. That's been with her for some time, judging by the nuance. It made me smile. Were you?
Yeah. Maybe she's going to do a whole album. I mean, people can, of course, record albums from home now. And, you know, I mean, Rita Wilson, she's going to drop that EP coming this summer. The Rita Wilson, the Corona EP. It's going to be coming. Yeah, it's going to be the most fire album of 2020.
It's going to be crazy. She's going to win Grammys. She's going to sell 1 million records. I mean, you think she'll do originals or will they all be covers?
Maybe she'll do like a type of like P. Diddy thing where she'll just be having samples come in from like other popular songs. Then she'll spit her own verses. We'll see.
Some collaborations. Maybe
as long as Tom Hanks is on a track, that's all we care about. Yeah, it's like a character from each of his movies. Like,
God, I mean, since he always plays in a role that's like a true story and all that stuff, he could just play himself for the next role, right? Going through this.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute crazy. Well, that's all we have this week for the BS podcast. Zach, unless you had anything that was ticking you off, that was absurd, ridiculous that you wanted to bring up.
That's all the bullshit I've got for this week.
That's all we can handle. I think we, consider that sidewalk of BS cleared. We shoveled that out of the way. I'd like to know what all of you thought about the topics that we covered today, as we covered the ridiculous, the absurd, and of course the bullshit. I want to encourage you to subscribe to this channel, and if you like this video, to hit the like button. For Zach, I'm Dave, and I've just had enough of this BS.
You've been listening to the BS Podcast with Dave and Zach, part of the Informed American Radio Network. Please like and subscribe today in order to get fresh new weekly episodes. Please send us your BS stories to info@informedamerican.com. The world is hard enough, and now we gotta deal with this bullshit.